Welcome back, everybody, to Grooving Goddess Live. This is a Patreon preview and a public service that I'm putting out just to assist you a little bit during this solstice and Mercury pre-shadow phase and galactic alignment. The North Star is large and in charge, and so there's a lot happening all at one time. We just went through this recent period of activation with all of the solar flares and all of that energy coming in, and that is activating our crystalline DNA. The crystalline DNA is the dormant part of our cells that has not previously been operating in our body because we were in a denser environment. If you want to learn more about that, join the Patreon because I can't cover everything in this morning's conversation. But what I'm here to talk about today is embodiment and energy flow. During this time when we have had all these activations, and don't worry, the room isn't on fire. I have some jasmine incense going. But when we are, I'm making sure, okay. Making sure sound is working. When we are in this state of having just had all these downloads and everything, at the same time, we're getting slingshotted through whatever we haven't been letting go of, what needs to be dealt with, the messiness in our lives. And that's going to happen during this pre-shadow phase and the beginning of Mercury. So at the same time that's going on, you're trying to integrate all of this new energy into your body, your energy field. And it's very important that from now until pretty much the end of this Mercury phase, which ends around the end of January, is that we need to stay in our bodies. Full embodiment of all of your consciousness is the key to power. Your place of power is that full embodiment of your consciousness. We are just as infinite inside as the universe is outside. You are your own universe. So staying in your body, not disassociating because of triggers or trauma or physical discomfort is going to be very important because that is how we fully integrate everything that just came in to give us that higher energy flow, that superior energy flow, and not superior as in hierarchy. You know what I mean? It's like, it's an upgrade. It's like you're getting a faster sports car for an energy field and for your physical structure. So it's very important to stay in your body as you're going through this process of integration, which may be difficult because we have several things going on. We have extreme weather, we have holiday stress and travel, we have all of the planetary influences, we have the Mercury pre-shadow, which is bringing up a whole lot of things that are stressful to deal with for various people. And we also have a lot of various kinds of sickness going around right now that are spreading a lot. And when you feel uncomfortable or discomfort in your body, even if it's something where you have a chronic pain condition and that is worse in the winter, that is enough to take you right out of your body and for you to disassociate because it is a natural default mechanism that we must learn how to override through years of conditioning and probably whatever you've experienced in your life that you might find triggering. I will share a little about what I've had going on. So yesterday, lots of car trouble, very stressful because we were trying to leave the house, my youngest and I, because he was having an evaluation that we had waited 4 or 5 months for with a doctor here in town. And so we had to get there and we did make it in my mother's 30-year-old Oldsmobile that I took over when she got mild dementia and couldn't drive anymore. So that was an adventure. But and I'm not gonna lie, I was staying embodied, but I was super cranky about it. But I just kept telling myself that it was going to work out and whatever was happening was okay. Even though at the time I was feeling like I do not have money to get my van towed right now. You know, it's Christmas. Not most people aren't exactly like, oh yeah, I'm fine. And those who are, it's wonderful, and we're so glad that you are. But it is not the majority of people. So, being that it's the holidays and the end of the month and all of those things happening, I was stressing a bit about that. But I just kept telling myself that it was going to work out and it would be fine. In the meantime, I had yet another trickster, liar, catfish, psychopath, I don't know, pick a word, lied to me in a way the last 2 weeks that was just so bananas. Um, and at first it kind of threw me off a little, and then I shook that off. But you know, these are all the kinds of things that can really pull you down into your negative emotional space where you are feeling like things are happening to you instead of for you, that things are working against you instead of opening up different avenues for you. So by the time I got home and was starting to look things up and figure out how I was going to deal with this car issue. Thankfully, I don't have to drive every day. I really don't drive a whole lot. And I do have the backup of my mom's Oldsmobile. But my oldest, who is the one who was driving it and then hadn't driven it for a while before he left for school, he said, Mom, if you're going to drive it, please take it somewhere and get a proper inspection, because I did not know as much about auto mechanics as I do now when I was working on it. And I just want to make sure you're safe. So, I need to get it checked out, but it's not a long-term solution. Let's just put it that way. That and man, getting older sometimes, I tell you. I'm much stronger than I used to be, but there is something about the kind of nerve damage that I had in childbirth that makes it very difficult for me to get out of a car that's low to the ground. It's like it's like you would think I was in an Olympic lifting competition as I'm trying to do this repeatedly. So, not ideal. I knew when I got home yesterday that I was feeling that energy dynamic that comes in when you just want to check out and you're in some kind of trauma response. And instead of fighting it, worrying about it, trying to spiritually bypass positive thinking my way out of it, I acknowledged that I knew I was safe, protected, and loved, and everything was going to work out fine. But I allowed myself to just fawn, to go limp. I basically cried a little bit and then slept a lot. And in between sleeping a lot, someone who is not a liar and not lying to me, who is even in another state, was very sweetly looking things up for me, trying to find me a mobile mechanic. And it gave me an opportunity to see that this person would do that somebody would do that and be considerate and want to help. And that gave me a lot. It gave me a renewed sense of faith in humanity, especially the ones that I'm trying to date. And it also kind of gave me that reassurance of, all right, it's going to be okay. You're going to sleep tonight. You're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to feel better. And for now, you're going to stay in your body and just feel all the stuff, the worry about money, the shit, what if I can't fix this van? Because this is not a time for me to buy a car yet. And just allowing myself to express all of those feelings. For energy flow, this expression and allowance of feelings is becoming vitally important. People are already starting to be working on their ability to be vulnerable, their ability to feel their feelings, and their ability to have boundaries. And what I have found through my own personal journey and then helping others is that the more you practice this and the better you get at acknowledging, accepting, and feeling your feelings in the moment, not trying to repress it or immediately flip it into a positive. It's like it allows the natural process of the emotional cycle. Emotions, feelings, traumas, experiences, they're really not meant to get trapped in our body, but they have, because we have been conditioned for so long to repress everything that we feel most of the time. We have been programmed to literally gaslight our own damn selves out of acknowledging the real moment that we're in. And so, what I am finding personally is that being able to just allow that feeling, allow those things to pass through me, makes it move and process much quicker and does not get stored in my body or become a looping thought in my mind or some kind of trauma trigger. So that's been my recent experience. And so I always know I tend to have things happen to me ahead of the collective. And so I know that some of, if not all of us, are going to be challenged over the next couple weeks, especially. So, one of the things that we can do, besides feeling our feelings and accepting it and allowing ourselves to just, have a brief pity party if we need it, is to be focusing on our energy flow and reinforcing joy, pleasure, fun, being moved, all of those things, leaning into music, delicious food, touch, nature. Nature is really important, but I know that's a little tough right now because it is cold in most places. But whatever you can do that is on your list of things that refill your tank, that is going to help you stay embodied, because part of the reason we're here doing this whole earth experiment is to become like what they have dubbed ascended masters, which basically just means that you are fully embodying your consciousness in the human experience. And that means experiencing the full spectrum of human experience. It means feeling the joy, the sadness, the pain, the pleasure, all of the things. But when we are in a state where we're feeling mostly the not so great stuff, or we're under a lot of stress, it becomes harder to stay embodied. So, what I suggest is that you make yourself a list. What are the things that bring me joy, happiness, pleasure, vibrant health? What is good for my daily physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional maintenance? And I'll list off some things that help me. We are all truly different and bio individuals. So I don't try to tell any of my patrons or anyone who follows me that this is how you do it. And if you don't do it that way, you're doing it wrong, because that's just not true. It really is a very individual and unique experience. Before I finish the recording here, I will do a little energy love expansion exercise to show you how you can do this for yourself to be able to maintain your energy field and also have a positive effect on the world around you. But in the meantime, making yourself that list, even if it's just a note on your phone or post it on your wall, somewhere that you have as a reminder that when your car won't start and you're trying to get to an appointment you've been waiting for 4 months, and then you're hoping that your mother's old tank starts and that you can drive that safely anywhere, you can look at this list and go, what things are going to reignite my joy, my pleasure, my experience? And so even in that experience yesterday, it was like, well, this is what it is. So we're going to get a treat or a nice coffee or listen to music or take a nap. Like, naps are great. They really are, because sometimes our circuits just get overloaded. Resetting your vagus nerve can be very helpful during these experiences of wanting to leave our body, which I will also show you in a moment. And the reason that I am bringing all of this up is what I said in the beginning. With this solstice, we are integrating all of this amazing stuff. And even though I'm not going to blow sunshine and tell you that 2023 is just going to be a picnic and a total joy all the time and that there won't be chaos, but I will tell you that it is a year of hope. It is a year of forward momentum and growth and progress for the human collective and the individual. So the more you can be in control of you and keeping your eyes on your own paper and not being too externally focused or worried about what others around you are doing, even in the spiritual communities and even others who are on this journey, just keep reminding yourself, this is my journey. This is what I came here to experience and do. When things seem to go wrong on the surface, a week or a month or even sometimes a day out, you see, oh, okay, that had a purpose. That changed course for me. And if I had stayed on the other course, I would not have had what I wanted. The more you can be individually responsible for yourself and your own peace of mind and what you're consuming. And that is everything from nutrition to movies, music, social media, news, other people. I know we're probably, some of us, about to head into circumstances where we may need to be around people that we don't feel comfortable with or fully safe with. So maintaining your own ability to thrive, your physical routine, and maintaining your energy flow so that you are processing things in a healthy way and not holding on to them will allow you to get more out of these experiences. And also, you might find that being able to do this, that others respond differently than you would expect or have experienced in the past. I'm not saying that you're, sorry, my phone is ringing. I'm not saying that your slightly intoxicated uncle who has completely opposite political views from you is going to miraculously change. But perhaps they'll be a little more cheery and talk less about things that don't matter and more about being together and reminiscing and sharing family stories or whatnot. So the energy flow, let's see. All right. First, let me show you the vagus nerve reset. So to reset your vagus nerve, and there is another YouTube video on my channel that is public called Calming Your Nervous System that also talks about a lot of these tips. Generally, when we get triggered into some sort of a trauma response where a present event is connected to a past event in our neurology or in our physical body from somatic memory, it helps to reset the vagus nerve and slow down that nervous system reaction and just stop it in its tracks, really. So normally you would do this laying down, but you can do it sitting up. And I don't know if it's going to work for me right now because I'm trying to talk and explain it. But basically, you put your hands behind your head like this, just comfortably. The idea is to be relaxed, not, so no tensing up, just being relaxed. And while you're doing this, you're going to look to the side and you just stay that way with your eyes looking to the side. And after a little while, oh, that's gonna work. Whew. You'll yawn. And that's a signal that this is working because that's part of the function of your nervous system is the yawning. And then do it to the other side. And allow that release. And then take some deep breaths and allow yourself to have that reset. It should make you feel calmer, and just more like your normal functioning self, your homeostasis. So that is one technique. And then another technique that you can use is what I call love expansion. There are videos up online about that as well. And there is one, I believe, that I made public in the summer-ish, where I teach the whole thing, because there is music. You can do it to any song, but there's music I wrote for this purpose because it is a full range of tones throughout the body. It's 8 octaves. But you don't have to do the whole dance while you're out in public at the grocery store. Once you have practiced this at home alone a little bit, you can then think of it in your mind and not very discreetly do some breathing and activate this structure. Practicing this love expansion will give you a permanent structure around you. It is a sphere made out of the unconditional love frequency, which you are bringing in source energy and Gaia energy into your solar plexus, and then breathing out unconditional love. You are creating that love frequency. And once you have this established and you have practiced this at home, maybe before you're falling asleep, you don't always have to be doing the physical movements. I just find them helpful for managing and feeling and seeing that energy flow. But you can just do it completely mentally in a relaxed state before you're going to bed, or taking a moment throughout the day to be mindful and do some rhythmic breathing while you are reigniting that love sphere that is around you. Some of my patrons who have been working with me for a long time, they're and mine as well, our love spheres are very large and we're covering a tremendous amount of territory right now. But which tends to make life experiences just flow easier all the time. So even with this car trouble thing, I found a mechanic this morning and I may be able to start it myself, and I've got all the instructions that I found an honest mechanic, and everything's turning out fine. So creating this structure around you makes it permanent. And then once you have it, you can be someplace like the supermarket, or a big box store during the holidays, trying to shop and feeling all the stress of everybody around you. Because if you're here listening to this, chances are you are empathic, highly empathic or intuitive. And so right now you may be feeling like everywhere you go, you're taking on all that energy, and you don't have to. So go ahead and watch, but normally my eyes are closed when I'm doing this some of the time. But I start with my hands like this, and while I'm doing this, I am generating and pulling up from the molten core of Gaia all of that earth energy and that love energy from her, that unconditional love from our mother. It is coming up through my feet, your roots deep down into the earth, and flowing into me and to my solar plexus. So that's the center of your body. Then in the meantime, after I've done this a few times, which, as I said, you can be doing this mentally. You can just breathe in and imagine that those roots are drawing up the energy, and breathe out love. And then at the same time, I am bringing my arms up, breathing in, breathing in the source energy through the top of my head, like I am this column, this river of energy flow, and then breathing out that unconditional love. Now, how do we generate that feeling of unconditional love, especially when we're stressed, cranky, going through something really hard, not feeling well? It can be a little more challenging. But what I instruct people to do is to think about something or someone that every time you see the person or the scene in nature or hear the song, whatever it is, we all have those things that bring us to that state of childlike wonderment or just such joy at loving another person that generates that feeling inside of us. So all you need to do to learn how to generate that love frequency is to tap into that childlike joy. For me, it could be a flock of geese flying over and honking. This makes me excited every single time it happens. Or it could be my children, a memory of fun with them, or just reveling in my love and pride for them. Those are some of the unconditional love starters that you can use. A pet, if you have a dog or a cat or a bird, whatever makes you feel that unconditional love welling up in yourself, that is what we tap into. So as we are pulling up the energy from Gaia and then pulling in that energy from source, with each exhale, we are creating a sphere of energy around us. Usually I tell people, think about it as, 6 feet on all sides if you need a size measure, but really it's whatever works for you. Now, how do we use this if we're out in public? Once you've practiced this at home and you feel you've gotten the process and the feeling of being surrounded by this rose quartz, pink unconditional love frequency, this love bubble that is going to transmute anything that isn't yours and doesn't belong in your energy field passively and with consent. I'll explain what that means in a minute. Once you are aware of this and you have created this for yourself, it is there all the time. But sometimes in a stressful moment, we forget it is, or, we're just not tapped into it at the moment. So if you find yourself somewhere where there's a whole bunch of cranky people, it is a really fun experiment to do the breathing, because you can be deep breathing and letting out breaths without the hand movements and all that. Nobody around you has to know what you're doing, but you simply breathe in And then breathe out that unconditional love. And know that you are expanding your sphere and igniting that and turning that on, reminding yourself it's there. And you can expand that out to cover the space you're in. And I have personally experienced, and know others who have as well, the power of this, because the people around you, first of all, you're going to stop feeling all of their stuff. You don't have to do that. Just because you're an empath and you are empathic or intuitive, it doesn't mean that you have to go through the world just feeling everything or avoid going into the world. This love sphere around you keeps your energy field, your Taurus, your light body, your physical body. Safe isn't quite the right word, but we'll use it for now. Safe from anything that isn't yours. It's just transmuted. It's not allowed. It's vaporized the minute it hits the inside of this sphere. Now, what about consent and other people that are around you? This energy is passive. It does not remove anything or change anything about anyone unless they, their higher self is like, yeah, this feels great. Let's go let go of some stuff right now. It just gives them a feeling of well-being and bliss and joy that they didn't have before you expended out your energy that way or before they came in contact with you. It's kind of like turning yourself into this amazing superhero that just moves about through life, making people's days better without even trying. And that in turn makes your human experience much more pleasant because those around you are resonating with and training with that frequency. Entrainment is something that I talk about a lot with Schumann resonance in the earth and also with the sun. But all of these frequencies, when we are connecting with other people, when we are creating these different frequencies around ourselves, it causes an entrainment. Think of, looking for visual aids, think of two tuning forks that are next to each other. You can take them, this is what entrainment is. You can take this tuning fork and hit it on something and it starts making a tone. And this tuning fork, which nothing has happened to, will eventually start to vibrate just like the other one is and make the same tone. This is entrainment. And this is what happens between people. So that's why working on your own energy field, your own homeostasis, your own embodiment, your own energy flow is going to change the world around you that you experience. And again, I want to reinforce, if you are encountering difficult, awful people, if you are having physical challenges, if you are having financial struggles, whatever it is, I am not saying now, nor will I ever say that it is your fault or that you're not vibing high enough or that you just need to raise your frequency. We are dealing with real world circumstances that are collectively chosen by all the humans on earth. And so not everybody's on the same page with things, and we are going to encounter difficulties. But the difference is that when you are maintaining this energy flow and this sphere around yourself, you will find that even the difficult experiences turn out so much better than you could have hoped for or anticipated. And you will have really productive, pleasant interactions with people while others are complaining. So for instance, this morning I found a mobile mechanic, and instead of just making an appointment with me and coming out here and charging me $100 or whatever it would have been for him to attempt to jumpstart the van and see if he could get it going, he gave me detailed instructions on how to safely do it myself. I know how to jump a vehicle, but I just didn't want to try it until I knew what was going on, because there have been some, problems coming up, and I didn't want to cause more damage by doing the wrong thing. But the point is that this very nice gentleman was so happy to explain this to me, and said, let me know if it works and you get it going. And then also let me know if it doesn't work and we need to make an appointment for me to come out. Most of the time you hear people talk about auto maintenance and mechanics in less than a positive light sometimes. And people around you might be talking about, oh no, and it's so hard to find a good mechanic and they're all crooks and everything. And you're not going to have that experience. You're going to have the best version of whatever human experience you're having at the time. And that is the benefit of doing this work. So before I let you go with all that, I want to talk about energy flow. And then I'll also dip a little bit into meteor showers. Pun intended. So there is a common theory. I'll just say theory. I don't want to say misconception, because I never claim that I'm more right than anybody else. But in my experience, we are not meant to be a finite vessel, which is empty or full. Our physical body does operate that way, but our energy body, our light body, our Taurus, our love sphere, all of that is a river of flowing energy flowing through you. So when we're having the intense solar storm activity, that can feel like there's too much energy flowing through you. And then when we're in a magnetic storm, it can kind of feel the opposite, like there's not enough energy flowing through you. So doing this exercise of breathing in the source energy, breathing in the Gaia energy, and breathing out the love is going to teach you how to manage that flow of energy. When we are experiencing Schumann spikes or solar storms, you can do what I call as solar breathing, which is basically what I just explained to you, only you are consciously saying to yourself, I am breathing in this solar energy and saving it for later in my battery, my solar plexus. Same thing with the Schumann. I am breathing in this extra energy and banking it in my solar plexus for later. This generally relieves any feelings of anxiety or panic that sometimes comes with an energy quickening of downloads. That energy quickening can feel the same as anxiety or panic sometimes, if that is something that you have experienced before. But if we switch our thinking to, this is excitement and this is pure energy flowing through me, and I can save some of that for later, then it seems to alleviate those panic and anxiety symptoms that you might have. Then in the meantime, the meteor showers. We just had the Geminids, and that peaked. This has been a meteor shower season for the record books since August. We've had multiple meteor showers, and what I've been observing is how the mythology sometimes ties to what people seem to be experiencing. So with that in mind, we're finishing up the Geminids, and now it's the Ursids, which is Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, the bears. And in its most basic form, this is about hibernation, rest, allowing the space for all of that energy that has just flowed into our systems, that crystalline DNA activation, to integrate. Because as one of my friends who happens to be in the room listening right now has told me many times, and I agree that this is what is happening, is that just like a computer after a major update, whether you have updated the software or the operating system, or there is something going on there, sometimes it needs to be rebooted, and you need to not be using it for a bunch of work while it's doing that. So while our computers, ourselves, are being optimized, we need more rest, more quiet, um, more attention to self-care of our physical, mental, and emotional bodies, which can be a little difficult when it's the holidays where there's tons of pressure, whether you celebrate it or not, and we're that Mercury pre-shadow. So that Ursid meteor energy is coming in to help us all give ourselves a break and hibernate a little. So you may feel like you want to be a bear and hibernate and eat and just kind of be here and only do what you have to do and not expend any extra energy. And that's part of why we may be feeling that way. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover, but most of all, I just know, I mean, every day, if you pay any attention to any news, or it just happens to scroll across your feed if you're online or wherever you see it, there are bananas things happening. And so it can make things feel a little unstable. But part of all of this and the whole purpose of this is to remind you that you are your own stability. And regardless of what's going on in the outside world, you can maintain your own energy, your own physical body, and do what you need to do to feel your best during this time. I did do a prediction spot on Karen Rontowski, Paranormal Karen's prediction episode that'll be out on December 30th. And then after that comes along and is released, Serafina Blackman, my co-host on Meow Podcast, and I will compare notes because she was on the show as well and expand upon our predictions. But overall, mostly positive, and on individual bases, the sky's the limit. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. You can still make your dreams happen, and I believe in you. So much love to everybody, and I hope you have a safe and happy season. And I will try to put something up from the Patreon, a little preview, maybe once a month. But my tiers are very inexpensive, even the mentoring tier. So if you want to learn more about all this and want to learn more in depth, you can go join. And then in the meantime, to my wonderful patrons and friends, because so many of you are also my friends, my gratitude for your support, and my gratitude for the listeners, those who subscribe to me on YouTube, on TikTok, all the places. I am so grateful for every single one of you. And just know that my love sphere has a whole lot of, we'll call them energy threads. And those extend out to everyone that I am in personal contact with in any way. And so I'm sending you so much love during this time period. And reminder about TikTok. If that's where you know me from, you might want to just follow me on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, just in case something happens with the TikTok, because, you know, they're trying to shut that down. At any rate, I will save my opinion on that one way or the other, but I know there's about 5,000 of you following me on TikTok, and I would hate to lose you all. So immense gratitude to all of you. This year has been phenomenal in growth of the Patreon and the community and in my personal journey. And a lot of that is because of all of you.